Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be doing a review today of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 3, Episode 5, Facing Fears. I thought the title of this particular episode, Facing Fears, was so accurate because we had several couples facing actual fears, confronting their fears, and I thought this was a really interesting episode. So let's start off with Steven and Alina. First of all, the hotel that Steven and Alina are staying at, it is absolutely beautiful. The interior is nice. The exterior, like the area that they're in, that neighborhood, it is so cute. It is so pretty over there in Turkey. So beautiful. So the issue between Steven and Alina was that Alina wanted Steven to stay with her at the hotel and not stay at the hostel. Her main concern was that he was going to be speaking or talking to other girls, and she didn't want him to do that because she doesn't trust him 100%. But she hides this under the pretense of, I need Steven here to protect me because I'm alone in Turkey. I'm an attractive girl, so I need Steven here with me at the hotel to protect me. And that's what she tells him. He's trying to convince her that because she's about to be baptized and they have to be, I guess, pure and free of sin before the baptism, that it's better for him to not stay with her so they're not tempted into being intimate, and it's better for him to stay at the hostel because he doesn't want any temptation. And so she tells him, and I thought, to me, Alina is kind of like a smart cookie. She tells him, well, you staying here with me at the hotel is a great idea for religious reasons because then it's going to test your faith. You know, if we can abstain from each other, this is going to be a perfect test for your faith. And I thought that was really clever for her to put it that way. So then they agree that they're going to go visit the hostel. And if she didn't like it, then he would go stay with her at the hotel. So they go to the hostel. This was probably last episode. I'm probably getting my episodes merged together. They go to the hostel. She doesn't like it. So they ultimately end up deciding that he's going to stay with her. So in this episode, they do go see an immigration attorney because they want to get the process started with getting married in Turkey, and then they can enter Russia. He can go into Russia with Alina on a spousal visa. So they go see the attorney. The immigration attorney tells them what they need to do. It's a very long and complicated process. They both have to go to their individual consulate. She has to go to the Russian consulate, which conveniently is already in the city that they're in. And then Steven has to go to the American consulate in Turkey, which is in the capital of Turkey. I think it's in Ankara. I think that's what they said. So it's going to be a pretty complicated process. Now, the immigration attorney did suggest that, to make it easier, they should get married right away. Now, Alina likes this idea because she does want to get married to Steven right away as soon as possible. She says she's ready for marriage. And when she brings this up to him, he's kind of hesitant about it. He's not 100% on board with getting married right away. And I think that's about all for Steven and Alina. So that's kind of like where it stopped. And also, they were hitchhiking to get to the attorney's office. They hitchhiked. Didn't even take a taxi. They hitchhiked. And Alina was kind of worried about that. And, Steven, he's like a free spirit, adventurous, spontaneous kind of person. So with him, he saw no issue with hitchhiking all over the place. So that's what they do. That's what they did. Now, on the way back from the attorney's office, I think... Well, yeah, that's when Steven told Alina that he really wasn't ready to get married right now. And Alina, she really didn't like that. And so her whole mood just completely changed. She was like really distant with him, didn't want him touching her. And all he could suggest was getting watermelon. Moving on to Victoria and Ellie. No, Victor and Ellie. Victoria. To Victor and Ellie. So Ellie arrives in, I think she arrived in the island of San Andres because there's no transportation really to Providencia because of the hurricane, the Category 5 hurricane that completely devastated the whole entire island of Providencia where Victor is from. So luckily they were able to meet on the island of San Andres. I think he was able to get to San Andres. That's where they met. He was okay. He was alive. He was healthy. Praise the Lord. And they were able to get supplies from San Andres and ship it to or go to the island of Providencia. They got supplies. They took a ferry or a boat or something to Providencia, and it was a 4-hour boat ride from San Andres to Providencia. They get to Providencia, they get a car, they rent a car, and they're able to basically, he gives her a tour of the island and for her to see firsthand the devastation that this hurricane caused. The majority of the buildings were completely wiped out. The majority of people's homes were wiped out. This particular island has no type of infrastructure, no medical facilities. It's really, 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 really bad. He takes her to his sister's house, which I think was damaged. His own house that he was getting ready for Ellie actually withstood the hurricane. It didn't suffer a lot of, it had some broken windows, I think, and some minor damage, but the structure of it was secure. So it's still livable. Of course, there's no electricity, etc., probably no running water, but the structure of the home was able to sustain the hurricane. So that was good. Completely devastated. So they deliver supplies to his family and, clothes, necessities, etc. And Ellie's kind of questioning of whether or not she actually wants to stay on Providencia, because it's pretty bad. So I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know if it's for her to go back to America or for them to find somewhere else to go in the Caribbean to stay. Now, my question is, I missed this somewhere in the beginning of the season of why Victor cannot go to America. I've missed that. I need to probably rewatch the beginning of the season. I wish I knew why he can't go to America with her. So yeah, that's where that ended. Ellie questioning whether or not she should stay in Providencia. Next, we go to Sumit and Jenny. So Sumit and Jenny, they've been together 9 years. Jenny has been waiting for Sumit to marry her for 9 years. Basically, they're on the wrong show. Jenny and Sumit need to be on I Married a Mama's Boy, because that is what Sumit is giving. He is so, and I understand it's a cultural thing, to be concerned about what your parents think, to make your parents happy, to not bring shame to the family. Very concerned with how they look in their community, how they're perceived in their community, what their community thinks of them, because Sumit's parents said that it is important what people think of us, what people's opinions are of us, because if we ever need help from the community, they're not going to help us if they don't like us. So it's important for the family to have a certain type of appearance to the community, to be accepted by their community. And that's in a lot of cultures, that is how it is. You do what your family wants. You do what your community wants. A lot of cultures are like that. Rich ones, poor ones, middle class ones. It's only very few places where it's like the individual is more important than the whole. In a lot of places, the individual does not count. The whole, the majority is what rules. So this idea of, F my family, F my community, I'm going to marry Jenny and do what I want to do and to hell with everybody else, that's not going to fly. That's not going to happen. So my question to Sumit is this. Sumit, when you were on the internet looking for American women to con, or whatever you were trying to do. I don't know if it was conning for money. I don't know if it was conning for sex. I don't know if it was what you were doing, because you were on the prowl. You were looking for women. You had your catfish picture. You were going to catfish these women, making them think that you were some gorgeous, hot, chiseled-bodied model. You had that ready to go. You were looking for women. You were basically looking for victims. Now, what was your end game? What was your end plan? So if you found a woman who fell for you, who fell for your con, what was the result? What were you going to do? You were going to just drop her? You're just going to use her for money and then drop her? You were going to try to pursue a relationship and marry her? What was your end goal? Because you know how your family is. You know how your community is. You know what you can and cannot do. So when you found Jenny, an American woman living in America, what were you, much 30 years older than you, and you pursued her and you convinced her to be with you? What were you thinking the end result was going to be? That, okay, I'm going to marry this woman, I don't care what my family thinks, or I'm just going to use her, then I'm going to dump her? But now you kind of got caught up because now you feel like you can't do that anymore, maybe because you caught feelings, or maybe because you don't want to hurt her feelings, and so you strung her along for 9 years. What was your end goal, Sumit? Because now you're in this conundrum Now you're in this conundrum where you're stuck. You're and okay, let's move on to the show. Okay. So they're reminiscing about the confrontation that Jenny's parents had with Jenny at their home. They were talking about that and how that like really resonated with Jenny, and it really made her feel very, very low, and it really hurt her feelings. How his parents, I'm sorry, how Sumit's parents were referring to her, how they were talking to her, they were degrading her. They made her feel like less than human. They were just really, talking a lot of trash about her right in front of her, and how that really affected her. And Sumit agrees that his parents should not have done that. So the thing is that now Sumit's brother's wife is pregnant, and the family is very excited about that. And this leads to the whole conversation of when it comes to celebrating things in the family, Jenny is always left out because Sumit's family will not accept her in their home, in their group, in anything. So Jenny is always left out. So Sumit will go to family functions and family celebrations, and Jenny cannot go. So she's having his sister-in-law, his brother's wife, is having a baby. She's pregnant, and they're going to have a celebration. It's going to start at the temple. Then I guess it's going to go to their home or somewhere else for them to have a party, I think, celebrating the pregnancy. And Jenny can't go. So Sumit gets ready to go, and he tells Jenny, I'm going to talk to my family again, how it's not right that you're not included in family functions because you are family. We're engaged. You might as well be married. We are family. And so I'm going to go talk to them. So he goes to the temple. His family is there, his mother, his father, his brother, and his sister-in-law. And at the temple, he tells his family, it's not right that we don't include Jenny. And he tells his family, I'm engaged to her. We're engaged. And the brother said, and you would think that the younger people, the brother and the wife, would be a little bit more progressive thinking, more forward thinking, trying to kind of break the ties of society, of culture, or whatever. But no, the brother was like, no, we're not going to accept her as your wife. That's not going to happen. She's not going to be a part of this family. Now, if you want to bring her as your friend, we can do that, but we will never see her as your wife or as part of this family. So he tells him that he's engaged to Jenny. I don't know if this is the first I've ever heard of this. I'm not quite sure. But then the mother was like so devastated because, the mom was losing her son. Sumit lived with them his whole entire life, and now he's off with this American woman who's much, much, much older. And I know it's a whole cultural thing, the mother is just devastated. And yeah, the mother is just devastated. This is like the episode where parents are very devastated. So the mother, she starts crying. She gets up and leaves, and the father leaves to follow his wife. And then the brother and the sister-in-law leave. So basically that ended there. And my thing is that I feel like Jenny should just give up on Sumit and leave and go back to America, because you can't stay there. You can't continue to renew your visa every 6 months, travel to America, go back to India, travel to America, go back to India. You can't do that forever. The pandemic happened, which made things even worse. And who knows what's happening with the future of this pandemic, if there's going to be another type of international devastation where it's going to be hard for you to come and go. So forget about Sumit, Jenny. Just go back to America. It is what it is. It was what it was. He's a mama's boy. He's not going to grow up. He lied to you. I mean, the lies that he's giving you, Jenny, no woman would tolerate, but you've tolerated it for 9 years. And I don't understand why. You're basically supporting him because I don't think he's making that much money if he's working at all. You're basically supporting him. He's not giving you what you want. What are you doing? He lied to you about who he was. He catfished you, but then you're okay with that. Then you find out that he was married. Then you're okay with that. Then you find out how his family hates you. Then you're okay with that. Like, how much are you going to put up with? So my advice to Jenny would be, Jenny, just leave. Go away. Not go away, but go back home to America. I'm looking at this little, it's like almost like a Jack Russell Terrier. Okay, so that is Sumit and Jenny. Jenny, go back to America. It's okay. Start all over. I don't think Sumit's worth your time. Armando and Kenny. Okay, so Armando and Kenny. So Armando has a conversation with his mom, and he tells his mom, I think his mom knew that he was engaged, that he wanted to marry Kenny. I think his mom knew that. Now, I think Armando had the impression that his mom would tell his dad about the engagement and the upcoming marriage, wedding. The mother said no, she's not going to tell the father. She wants Armando to do it himself. Armando lets us know that the relationship between him and his father, it's been a good relationship. His father's a good father, but they haven't been very expressive with their emotions or very good with their communication. He tells us that when he told his father that he was gay, or I don't know if he told his father himself or if his mom told the dad, but when the dad found out that he was gay, he says he remembers that they went somewhere, him and his dad, and they sat somewhere, and all they did was watch the cars go by. They didn't talk, they didn't speak, they didn't say one word to each other. The father's a very quiet man, he doesn't talk a lot, doesn't express himself a lot. So now he needs to tell his dad that he's engaged and he's going to be married, and he wants his dad to be at the wedding. So he goes to see his father. I mean, the tension is thick. I'm watching this on TV, and it's like my heart is racing. It's like I'm living this experience with them. So he goes to see his dad. His dad is in, I think, like a little workshop or garage, I'm thinking, near the house. And he tells his dad, I want to talk to you. I want to tell you something. So they sit down. They talk about his homosexuality, and the dad says, you're an adult. You live your life the way you want to live your life, and you being gay has nothing to do with how I feel about you. I love you. I accept you, and I'm very, very, very proud of you. So, the dad tells him, you grew up to be, very intelligent young man, very admirable young man. I love you. I'll always love you. You'll always be my son, and I'm proud of you. And that really touched me, and that really touched Armando. And Armando's crying, and his dad is crying, and it's a really beautiful moment. Then Armando tells his dad that he wants to get married. Him and Kenny plan to be married, and he wants his dad at the wedding. He really wants his dad to come to the wedding. And the dad is like, I don't know about that. The dad's like, I need to think about it. I need to analyze the situation. I'm not against you marrying Kenny, being with Kenny. The dad even goes as far as to say that I hope one day we can have a normal life with Kenny. We can have just a regular, normal day-to-day life with you and Kenny and everybody, and just have a normal life. And he prays for that day. But the wedding part, he was like, I don't have anything against you getting married to him, being with him, but I don't know if I can come to the wedding. And Armando's like, I really want you there. And his dad says, I need to think about it. Give me time to think about it. I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.99% sure that the father will be at the wedding. He just seems like that kind of person that he's going to support his son regardless. But it was nice because, the Mexican culture, or maybe the Hispanic culture in general, I'm not sure. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to act like I'm an expert on Hispanic culture. Excuse me. But I feel like, that, the Mexican culture is really deeply rooted in Catholicism and religion, and that homosexuality probably is not that widely accepted. So for the father to say this to his son, that I love you, I accept you, you will always be my son, I accept who you are as a gay man, that is like groundbreaking. That is like just beautiful, 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 beautiful. Because as a parent, your child is still your child. The child that you raised is still the child that you raised. Who they're with should not matter. Who they choose to be with should not matter. This is being gay, being straight, being what, it doesn't change who you are, the essence of who you are. So it was just lovely that his father was able to accept him, but we are, we're not sure about the wedding, but I'm pretty sure the dad will come to the wedding. Evelyn and Corey. Okay, so Evelyn and Corey, this is a hot mess. Okay, so, Evelyn told her sisters that she and Corey were actually married. They had gone to wherever they went to, and they got married. Now, they got married, and then after they got married, they were having some issues. And according to Corey, Evelyn threw him out, and he went to Peru, and he met another woman in Peru, and he made Evelyn think that it was just like a really, like a little fling, but it ended up being a lot more than that, and we'll get to that later. Let me get to the part where Evelyn is telling her parents. So Evelyn has to tell her parents that she is married to Corey. Now, the reason why this is a big deal is because in her family, they do not believe in divorce. So for Evelyn to tell her parents that she's actually married to Corey, she kind of knows that if she ever planned to get a divorce, they would not accept that. It would be a big problem for her family if she were to ever get divorced, because nobody in her family gets a divorce. Evelyn even said that whether they're happy, they're not happy, they stay married. No one gets a divorce. So for her to go through that, it would be devastating to her family. And she doesn't want to hurt her family even more than how she's already hurt them, because she's with Corey, and I don't think anybody's that crazy about Corey. So they go to her parents' house. Her sisters are there. Her two brothers are there. And she tells her parents in the kitchen, she breaks the news to them that she and Corey actually got married. Her mom was just shattered. Her mom was like devastated. And the father was like a typical father, man of few words. But the mother was like, no, you didn't. And she says, yes, I did. And they show her the pictures on the phone of them signing the papers, getting married, everything. And the mom was just like, how could you do this? Because I want to be a part. Number one, she really wants to be a part of that, be part of your daughter getting married. You want to be a part of that. And she was denied that. And then number two, she was not happy because Evelyn told her, we only got married for papers. It was only for immigration purposes. Not like I really wanted to get married. Don't think that I really wanted to do this. I really didn't want to do this. I only did this for him to stay in Ecuador. And the mom didn't like that, because her mom is like, marriage is a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing. And you don't do it just to do it. You don't do it just for papers. What does she say? What words is she? Just for an obligation. You do it because you want to be committed to this person. You love this person. You're giving your life to this person. This is not something you do for papers. So her mom was really not happy about it. They asked her if she was happy. Evelyn said, no, she really isn't happy. And the parents are like, well, you're stuck because you're not going to get a divorce. So she's trapped. She's trapped. Then Corey meets with his friend Raul, and he ends up telling Raul the real deal with his fling in Peru. He tells Raul, when Evelyn threw me out, I went to Peru. I met this girl named Jenny, and it was more than just a fling. It was a relationship, because we were going to find a home together. I think he said he met her family, or she was going to introduce him to her family. So it was like a real relationship, and Evelyn doesn't know that. So Raul told him, well, you need to tell Evelyn, or I'm going to tell Evelyn. So Evelyn is going to end up finding out that this was something that he was really dedicated to. And then he went back to Ecuador. The reason why that ended was because he went back to Ecuador to get his stuff to go back to Peru. But when he came back to the home that he shared with Evelyn in Ecuador to get his things, the pandemic hit and the borders were closed and he couldn't leave. So because they were stuck together now, he decides to work it out with Evelyn. So Corey is a jerk. And he did all of this after marrying Evelyn. Now, Corey is a big time jerk. Even though you got married for papers, for whatever, you still have a commitment. You claim that you love Evelyn. And you're married. You do not go with other people when you're married, even if you're fighting, even if someone kicks you out. If you don't want to be with that person anymore, you want to pursue other things, you get a divorce. You get a divorce. If you're going to decide to be married, you need to honor your vows, and you need to honor your commitment, and you need to work it out or get a divorce. So he was still married. And I'm pretty sure, even though Evelyn kicked him out, I'm pretty sure Evelyn didn't think that, okay, I kicked him out, I'm never going to see him again, it's over, it's done, I'm going to do my thing, he's going to do his thing, we're done. I don't think she thought that. I think she thought, okay, he made me mad, I kicked him out, we're going to cool off, and then we're going to reconvene and work it out. So Corey, that's a bad move. And I really hope, because Evelyn, she seems really, Evelyn comes off as like a really strong, independent woman who's not going to take nothing from nobody, but she takes a lot from Corey. She takes a lot from him. I'm hoping that when she does find out what he did, that she does get that divorce and that she does leave Corey alone, because they're not happy. These people are not, I've never seen them completely happy. Corey is the one that always wants to work it out with Evelyn. And Evelyn is always the one that's like, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do that, and I don't want to marry you, and I don't want to have children, and I don't want to do this, and you need to, she seems like I mean, I don't understand why she's even with him, because when he came to, I mean, he left his life in America. He moved to Ecuador to be with her. Well, she tells him, well, don't think I'm going to help you with anything here in Ecuador. You're going to have to figure everything out on your own. You're going to have to figure out how to go here, how to go there, how to do this, how to do that. And you also need to, learn Spanish, and you need to do this, and you need to communicate to my family in Spanish. Like, she is not loving what she's just, I don't understand why she even agreed to marry him. Like, I don't get why she's with this. Like, she's so unhappy with him. He makes her so angry all the time. I don't understand why she's with him. I don't get it. And I don't think Corey, and I don't know why Corey is with her. I don't understand why he wants to be treated like that. Ariella and Biniam. Okay, so Ariella and Biniam, here we go. The fear that they have to face was, I guess, the fear of the cold water, because he wanted to take her to a holy place. It was like a waterfall, and with holy water or something or other, and they were supposed to bathe in this holy water, and it was beautiful. She did this for him. What I took away from this whole scene was that, now that Leandro has left, and I guess, she can't pursue nothing with Leandro, because it seems like Leandro has really moved on. I felt like the reason why Ariella, I feel like the reason why she invited Leandro to Ethiopia was, I really do think that she wanted to see if there was a chance. And I don't think she could have really gotten her answer through email or text or FaceTiming. I think she wanted to be around him, and she wanted him to be around her. Because I think she wanted to get back with him. I think that if Leandro would have given her the okay, she would have left with Leandro. Because that's another one. Ariella doesn't seem happy in Ethiopia with Biniam. She doesn't seem happy with him. She's always complaining about him being gone all night long. I guess he's making money at the clubs, DJing or dancing or whatever. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like his family. The family doesn't like her. She doesn't like the life there. I don't understand what's going on with this girl. And I think she brought Leandro she invited him to Ethiopia because I really do think that she wanted to see if there was still any kind of a connection between them. And I think with her, there definitely was a connection. Yeah, I think she still has feelings for Leandro. When she left him, I think she was just trying to go and explore and kind of find herself. But I think she kind of, in the back of her mind, maybe still wanted to I don't know. But I feel like she invited him to Ethiopia because she still has feelings for him. Because he was not reciprocating anything, she made the decision to stay with Biniam and make it work in Ethiopia with Biniam. But I think that if he would have reciprocated any kind of feelings or any kind of attraction, I think there would have been a problem. And she probably would have ended up going back to America with him. Because when he left and she gave him a hug, no, when they were at the airport, all three of them hugged. And then after the group hug was done, Ariel made a point to hug Leandro, and she hugged him and held him for dear life. It was like she was like hanging on to that man. And she hugged him for a very long time. And Biniam was like right there standing looking at all of this. And I'm like, Biniam, I mean, you're going to let them make you look like this? Anyways, so... And then they would go off and have coffee together. When Leandro was staying with them, Ariella and Leandro would go and have coffee together, just the two of them, and leave Biniam at home. I mean, it was so disrespectful. And if I was one of his sisters, I probably would have shown her a thing or two. It was just so disrespectful. And Biniam is just like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, why are you accepting this, Biniam? Your woman is disrespecting you with her ex-husband. They're going off having coffee together. She's very affectionate with him. She's very sweet and flirty with him. Right in front of you, Biniam. Anyways, moving on. So she thinks that because she decided to go through this whole holy water experience, with this, because when she went into it was like, I don't even know what it was. They walked over a bridge. It was a very beautiful scenery. It was nature, beautiful, wonderful. And then it wasn't necessarily a waterfall, but water was coming from a pipe. Water was coming from this pipe. And you stand under the water and you just let the water wash over you. And the water has been blessed, I think, by priest by holy men, and so it's supposed to heal you and cleanse your soul and all of this. And so while Ariella was doing her part, her cleansing in this water, it was extremely cold, very, very cold. And so and then there's this naked Ethiopian woman. Well, she wasn't naked, she was, all she had on was a pair of underwear. There was this basically naked woman next to her who was helping her and turning her around, and that was weird to me. I didn't understand. I didn't know why she couldn't do it by herself, because Biniam did his by himself, his cleansing by himself. So Ariella's like, I need Biniam to understand that if I'm willing to go through all of this, then I'm serious about him. If I'm willing to be bathed in this cold water and, go through all that I'm going through here in Ethiopia, he needs to understand that I really want to be with him and I don't want to be with anyone else. That my life is with him and with Avi. Okay, Ariella. So that is my review of 90 Day Fiancé. Is it? Am I done? Armando and Kenny, Evelyn, and that's it. Yeah, I'm done. That is my review of 90 Day Fiancé the other way. And I will see you next time. Thank you.